So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video where today we are here with a Zombies Q&A, the series where I take your questions from the comment section below to do with the zombie storyline, Easter eggs, and I answer them. As always, if you do enjoy today's video, drop a like rating anytime you feel like it's always appreciated. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel, but let's get into it. Here we go and enjoy. So the first question of the day is from Nico Rodriguez, and you say, "Hey BOA, why do the characters have to get points in order to get to another location?" So we don't really know how points work in terms of story. Just like many other things in our storyline, they aren't mentioned, they aren't referenced, they aren't explained to us in terms of storyline. If you're asking the question whether or not our characters actually acknowledge and know they have to use points, the answer to that would be yes, because they say plenty of quotes about them not being able to buy things such as perks and war weapons because they don't have the points. So it does seem like it's a feature that is canon, but why we have to use them in order to buy things is a different question, because all of these things that are given to us by Dr. Monty, such as the Pack-a-Punch, the mystery box, the perks, the war weapons, these were given to us to help the crew out, yet we've still got to pay for them. Surely if Monty wanted to help the characters, wouldn't he give them to us for free? And it's not just that, it's debris, opening up barriers and doors in the map, progressing, going from one end of the map to the other. We have to pay to move around, and we need points in order to do that. It just doesn't really fit in with what we understand. I mean, I suppose we need to know if the points are anything to do with Monty. If not, then where do they magically come from? Because we get them by killing zombies, or when you crouch in front of perk machines. The characters actually reference it as money, but how are we transferring that in order to pay for things? When you put it all together, none of it really makes any sense. So yeah, for that one I would just have to say points are definitely acknowledged. It seems to be part of our story, but how they work exactly, we don't 100% know. The next question from Deceased Deadpool says, "Is Richtofen actually a bad guy or a good guy? I've always had this question in my head." So I suppose it depends on how you actually look at it, and also of course we have multiple different versions of Richtofen. We have the child version, Primus and Ultimus, and then there's different versions of each and every one of them. There are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, millions, we don't know exactly, but there's many Richtofens. So we can only speak for the few that we know, and as I said, it depends on what you deem as being bad. But I would definitely say Eddie was good. We know he was innocent, he was just a child, so you would expect that. But then again, before you had seen him, you would think maybe Richtofen, being as crazy as he was exactly the same as a child. We know that wasn't the case though. Primus Richtofen, I would also say, was good, maybe a little bit twisted. I mean, looking at the bad things he did, there wasn't really anything that stood out. At the end of the day, he was still a doctor that worked for Group 935. Group 935 experimented with 115. That's really the worst he did, so if you count that as being bad, which I wouldn't. I remember the very first time that we met Primus Richtofen in Origins, everyone thought he was still evil because we saw him lobotomizing Maxis, cutting out his brain, so we thought, oh, here we go again. We have a different version of Richtofen, yet he's still evil. But we since found out that he did that for the greater good. He was saving Maxis from turning into the undead, and ever since then, it's been Primus Richtofen who has attempted to break the cycle. We saw he tried to save the lives of his teammates, Takio, Nikolai and Dempsey, by collecting their souls. In the end, yes, that did continue the cycle, but Richtofen did what he thought was best, so Primus Richtofen was good. And then for Ultimus Richtofen, I would say he was good up until a point, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. Richtofen only really turned evil, or should I say insane, when he came into contact with the MPD pyramid on Moon. He touched it, and that's when he became infected with the Dark Ether. The Shadow Man then got inside of his head and started telling him what to do. It was after that point in which he attempted to kill Maxis, went on to experiment on Samantha, and basically destroy the world. So Ultimus Richtofen at one point was definitely evil, but before he came into contact with the MPD, he was good friends with Maxis. Yes, he did experiment on animals. He was working with the Illuminati and creating an undead army alongside the Nazis, but he didn't do anything too crazy or what we knew him for later on. So I would say Ultimus Richtofen definitely was evil, but a little bit less evil in the beginning. So that's not really a question you can answer in one, because Ultimus Richtofen was bad, premise Richtofen was definitely good, and of course there was his child version as well. The next question of the day from Callum says, who was the person hanging in The Giant? So the last time I saw a question on this was about 2 or 3 years ago. I did make a video on it. I've just been back and taken a look in the comment section, and a ton of people were saying that this was multiple different people. If you don't know what I'm on about, in the map The Giant, if you come to this location, you can see there is a hole in the wall, and actually it's very difficult to see, so I will end up putting some lights up in a minute. But there is a person hanging on the inside of the building. Now the only way to see this up close is if you go into theatre mode and glitch outside of the map. If you go close up, what's interesting is it's actually just some legs hanging from the ceiling. There's no upper half to the body, so we can't identify who this is specifically, although there are a couple of theories. And the first one was, this is Dr. H. Porter. If you don't know who this was, he was a member of Group 935 who was one of the main scientists who invented the Porter's X2 ray gun, or the Porter's X2 Zap gun. He made Porter's ray gun Mark II as well. He was a close friend of Richtofen's, and especially Max's. There is quite a bit of information mentioned about him in the V-Bush files, and a little bit in the Chronorium as well. But on the original Derice, there is a radio, which I'll play for you in just a second, that takes place at the exact same time as the outbreak at Derice.
But I'm all out of hope. Auf Wiedersehen, my friend. Damn it! I can't find my pills. They are coming. I must do what I must do. God forgive us all.
To destroy our designated materials and report to the barracks. This is not a drill. Warning, the shield is now active. To destroy our designated materials and report to the barracks. This is not a drill. Warning, the shield is now active. Scientists are to destroy our designated materials and report to the barracks. This is not a drill. Warning, the shield is now active. To destroy our designated materials and report to the barracks.
So in this radio, we can hear as the zombie outbreak is taking place at Derice, H. Porter realises that he is all out of hope, that there is nowhere to escape, and that the zombies are going to kill him, and so before they eat him alive, he actually takes his own life by swallowing pills. Now you do actually hear in the radio the noise of a chair scraping and him choking, which might suggest that he hung himself. But then if we go to the Chronorium, it says on October the 14th, 1945, H. Porter activates the alarm as an outbreak occurs at Derice. Before taking a cyanide capsule, he says he's all out of hope, God forgive us all. So the Chronorium doesn't say that Porter hung himself. It says he took a cyanide capsule and you would assume he died. But it is kind of suspicious how we hear in the radio a chair scraping. Him choking just could have been him choking to death on the pills he took. I mean, I suppose the chair scraping could just be him falling off his chair. But some people have said that the hanging man is Porter, that he hung himself instead of taking pills, which contradicts what we've seen in the Chronorium. And of course the Chronorium is fact, that's actually what happened, so we can't go against that. Is there the chance that maybe he did both, took the pills and hung himself? Maybe. So I would say there's the slight chance that this was H. Porter, but it also could be someone else. As for who that is, possibly a random Group 935 employee. As the outbreak was happening at the facility, H. Porter wouldn't have been the only one here. Group 935 would have had hundreds of members here, so this could be one of the many that decided to take their own life instead of these zombies killing them. Although if that is the case, I don't think it's a character that we know. Or maybe this hanging person has nothing to do with the outbreak and is someone that Group 935 killed previous to that, because they have killed people at this facility and then used them in their zombie experiments. So we don't know 100%, but it's definitely interesting. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comment section below. And so guys, there we go. That is it. That is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do by now. Drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Could we shoot for, let's say 2,500 likes on this video? I don't know, but I'll leave it to you guys as always. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you for watching. Leave your questions in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.